Hi guys, my name is Morgan. I'm just gonna start out this video by saying I've recorded this 3 times and for some reason it's not uploading like onto the normal thing, so I'm gonna try uploading it to YouTube and seeing if that works. But hopefully I'll kind of have everything down because I've recorded this 3 times now. So my name is Morgan. I'm taking this class because I think communications or communicating with people in general is just like the basis of everything, and I have been trying to get better about communicating and just understanding communication and how it like changes and affects relationships, not only like friendships and like family relationships, but also like a career, because I've been looking into careers, and so I just think it's important to just know about. I don't really know what I'm doing as far as a career goes yet. I'm kind of undecided on that. I love creative things. I really love acting. Not that that's going to be a career that I like go into, but I'm going to try out acting, anything creative. So I'll probably do something like in the arts somehow. I also have thought about like working with animals. I love marine biology and things like that. So I might go back to college for something like that. As far as the second question goes, for the principles, the first one that I found kind of like the most interesting to me is we cannot not communicate. I have like I think it's most interesting to me because we are always communicating even when we don't think we are. And I feel like I do this a lot is I just I'm more of an observer. So I am constantly like making faces without realizing it. Like the most one of the just conversations that I remember, I guess the most, and I don't know why this stuck with me so much, is a teacher, I think it was in middle school, pulled me aside and she was like, I always am watching you and wondering what exactly you're thinking in your mind, because I can see you making faces and I can tell certain things you're thinking, but you're just always observing, and I just wish that I could like know your thoughts. And I just thought that was so interesting, especially like seeing or studying interpersonal communication now, is that like people are always communicating without even realizing. The second one is interpersonal communication is irreversible. I think this one is kind of one that like everyone has dealt with. Like you can't take words back once you say them. That's kind of like something my parents always taught me, is like be careful and choose your words wisely, because once you say them, you can't take them back. And usually the case is whoever you say them to, the people will remember those words more than you will, because you might forget, but words can stick with people. So I feel like everyone has done this, like especially with people that they care about the most in love, just saying things that they don't mean. Like I know that I've before just said things to like my sisters, like I don't know, just things like, oh, you're so annoying. Like that's obviously not an okay thing to say, and like I don't mean that because I love my sisters to death, but I've said it before. And that's just something that you can't take back. Just arguments and stuff, you say some things sometimes that you don't mean. Yeah, it's happened with my friend before, like text arguments, just like little disagreements. She said things before that like I know that she didn't mean, and she didn't mean, and then she called me after and was like, I don't know why I said that because I didn't mean it. So it happens. But it's important to be careful of what you say. The next one is metacommunication affects meanings. I never like knew that there was a word for this. Like I didn't know what metacommunication meant, but I am constantly talking about conversations that I've had with people and how like it like strengthened or developed our relationship. The best example I have of this is I was on a camping trip with one of my really close friends, and we were like in the tent at night, and we were playing this game called We're Not Really Strangers. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it is a game where you like pull out cards that have like deep questions on them, and then you can get to know each other through those questions. So they're like questions maybe that like you wouldn't usually tell anyone else, or just like really deep personal questions. And it's really interesting because you can kind of like strengthen relationships with this game. But afterwards, I was talking to my friend and I was like, I feel like that conversation really strengthened our friendship. So we were talking, we had like an entire new conversation about the conversation we had just had, and how it like helped develop our friendship and helped us get to know each other better. So I thought that was just really interesting because I didn't know, I do it all the time and I didn't know there was like a specific word for it. And then the last one is interpersonal communication develops and sustains relationships. This one I think is kind of the most obvious because, you know, communication is like how we, you know, come to know people and get to know people and agree and disagree on things and whatever. But my example of this, I guess, is like one of my old friends and I used to talk. She was like my best friend, and we used to talk all the time about just like our future friendship, and we'd be like, we're gonna go to each other's weddings, and we would talk about, even though we knew like these, you know, things that we like thought in our heads probably wouldn't become reality, we would always just talk about like, oh, in the future we're gonna get an apartment together, move out of state, and we're gonna go travel and go to Hawaii, and we would just like make all these specific plans, which I just think that like that just helped develop our friendship because we would just always be talking about like how we were going to be friends forever. And that I think is just something that really can develop relationships, is when you're just talking about like future and, you know, talking about your beliefs and how you guys can become better friends. I just think that there are so many like facets within communication that like can just help develop relationships and friendships, and I just think communication is really cool. I don't know, I just think it's cool to like look back on I like this assignment because like looking back on different examples of like when I've communicated with people is interesting. So I'm excited to see all of your guys' responses. Bye.